Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. As always, I'm your host RJ, and I'm joined by my champion mate and legendary co-hosts, Scott the Gooner and Rob the Happy Red Devil. How are you this evening, Rob?
I'm very happy, as you just said, mate. Or what can I say? Very impressed. So yeah, I'm very
Impressed.
impressed. Pardon the pun. I'm pressing.
Pressed. Yes, agreed. Scott, we're down. I'm down. We're all down, mate. Kick off. How are you?
Next question.
I hear you, mate.
That's
It's a bit like that.
Tell you what, the banter started early tonight, boys. Look, United fans in the chat tonight. I bet they are
Celebrating that big win over Wolves, I can imagine.
I loved what you put on Twitter, Robbie, at the start. Redemption. I love that.
That's a good pun.
The most maligned man by the fan base is the man, the golden man. Good old Fred, hey? Look at him. Robbie's got the Christmas lights. He's feeling festive.
I don't remember the last time I felt like this. I think it was match day 1. So I got to lap it up while I can.
Been crazy though when you think about it. Hey, like we had this chat last week or so. United were in the mud. Arsenal were, going okay. Things are well. Chelsea on top of the league, Kings of Europe, all that. Now the tides just turned. They're dramatically in 1 week. Your whole mood can just swing crazily.
You're exactly right, bro. It's just exactly right. Within the minute of 4 days from last Thursday before our game, I was thinking if Arsenal win, we go 8 points behind Arsenal. Fast forward 4 days, we're a point in front of them. It's just, and that's how quickly things can happen. It's not to say we're out of the mud either, but it's just that's the EPL for you. That's the Premier League. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, boys. Look, the standard, not the standard, the way we're going to run tonight's show, obviously there's been a lot of football, but we know that the main thing we're going to try and cover is, obviously Robbie's going to want to talk a little bit about the man, the myth, the legend in Fred, United's best player, certainly someone that the fans have loved for a long time. You know what? I'm just going to drop it. I can't even banter you tonight because we're garbage, and that's something else we'll talk about. How garbage Arsenal are, why they've been garbage, and how they can stop being garbage. So I'm going to try and have a little bit of therapy in here tonight. And, of course, RJ, I know you've had a busy week, mate, but there's always time to talk about your Chelsea boys slipping.
Chelsea club, mate. Let's be clear. The Chelsea club. We are the FA Cup champions. The women's Chelsea 3-0 smashed Arsenal. Smashed them. Best club in Europe. Best club in the world, okay?
You know what? Arsenal well and truly in the mud. Live stream enjoy. But there's a lot of people in here. I want to quickly take a second just to acknowledge some of the champions before we jump in. We've got Daniel here. He's excited. He's happy. Always Daniel, happy bloke. Martin's in here. Come on, you. Someone's. I'm not going to say it. I refuse to say it. Being recorded. We got Ben. Welcome, Ben. Trippy, our Pro Club CDM, our man. Gunaretti's in here. Gunaretti, good to see you here. Always nice to have the support. Martin shouting out the Conte effect. Leg Zaruni coming in. Yeah, look, it does feel like millenniums ago that Chelsea and Arsenal lost and United won. Is quite frankly disgusting. Quite frankly, it's disgusting. Georgie's here. We haven't seen Georgie in a bit, but you've come back at the right time, Georgie. Nice to see you. Declared, Sportswire. We're all good. We've got some absolute champions in here. Let's get into it. Robbie, let's start on a happy note, mate. A good win, Ralph's first official match in charge. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, look, what kind of word? I think the word I'm looking for is optimistic. Like I said, no one's getting overexcited yet. It's I think it was nice for him, especially to get that first win, because for me, the first half an hour was some of the best football I've seen us playing in quite a while. It was entertaining. I was surprised how quickly, not that we're up to scratch with his thing, but for having maybe 1 or 2 days with the team, to look like we even had a little bit of his system happening with the full-on pressing, like we're playing in the 4-2-2-2. We're saying maybe a bit of a 4-4-2, went to a 4-2-4, a bit all over the place. But you could kind of see that it wasn't nothing like Ollie's, and it was, you can see the new Ralf kind of system trying to be started anyway. And look, I thought we started great, and pretty much we done everything right except score the goals. That was the only thing that was missing. Obviously went into half time at 0-0, and that was the first time in a long time I can say we were just dominating all the stats, all the possession. Like I said, the only thing was missing was the goals. And once it started getting a bit deeper into the second half, I was actually a bit nervous, saying, hey, we're having a great performance for a change, but we're having nothing to show for it. And I was actually worried it could have been a 0-0 draw until we had a bit of that brilliance from Fred, with which was a great finish just outside the box on his weak foot. And look, that just ended a great weekend for me, considering what happened on the Friday with the Arsenal game. And then, even with the supporters club on the weekend, we had a win too, raised money. It was all for a good cause. Got to catch up with some of the boys in the chat here. So it was just a nice weekend for me in general. And like I said, something to look forward to. Optimistic is the word. I'm hoping now it's a bit of a clean slate now. We've still got time in a lot of different departments for the rest of the season and in a different few cups. And I'm hoping that, in weeks and months, we start to see the United that I thought we were going to see at the start of the season. And, with a few players returning, aka Pogba and Varane, hopefully on the horizon soon, there's a bit more positives to come, I'm hoping.
And you know what, mate? You can't fault that, but I'm just going to give you a word of caution. I was optimistic a couple of weeks ago. I was feeling like things were moving into a positive light. Just be careful. Don't let yourself.
Well, I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson early on this season. You called me out after that round one, and mate, I've copped it for the past 6 weeks. So I'm going to be very straight down the middle tonight. I'm not going to.
Hey, look, and you know what? It's my turn to cop it now, because that's the way football works. It's a football thing. Before we move on with the conversation, there are so many of you here. It's buzzing tonight. Who'd have thought that all we needed was Chelsea and Arsenal to lose to see some of you boys in here? We love it.
See the things we do for our subscribers. We're on the 100%. Phone. Come on, Mendy, make that mistake. Come on, just completely stuff it up. We need our subscribers, guys. Absolutely. This is what we do for you.
If you guys could do us a sneaky one and hit that like button while you're here, maybe share the stream. I would love to get some more in here. And if you could come back at some point tomorrow and just drop a comment on there. Feel free to criticize RJ's head, talk nonsense about Chelsea, praise United, just don't comment about anything else. Quickly, before we go to Chelsea, I want to acknowledge the other side of Manchester as well, our new Premier League leaders on the ladder. City, again, impressive, doing the business 3-1 against Watford. I don't know if you boys caught any of that match. Even if you didn't, are you nervous now, particularly you, RJ? Your team, I think, are still in this title race. I don't know if the same can be said for United or certainly Arsenal, but are you nervous now that they've got up there? Because they tend to, once they hit the top, they tend to just go, and they're almost the Mr. Consistence of the Premier League. How do you feel about it, RJ?
Of course you're worried about Manchester City. They're the reigning Premier League champions. They're not some underdog story that's risen up like Leicester did 5 years ago. This is the best team in the country with the best squad depth that brought in 100 million Jack Grealish, who hasn't fired on all cylinders yet. But you've got guys like Rodri, Bernardo Silva, who's in the form of his life. To see them where they are is absolutely no surprise, because like Liverpool, they've been there, done that, won that. Everybody else, including Chelsea, are the chasers. And until we can demonstrate that consistency, there's first, second, big distance, then third after that. Like, yes, we're in a title race. We've got to own that responsibility. But we haven't proven for several years now that we've got what it takes to do wins week in, week out and grind it out. We just haven't done that yet. And we're not talking about our game yet. We will. But City and Liverpool, they just, not only they're scraping wins, their performances have been top-notch, their results have been top-notch, and generally performance equals result. We know that's not always the case, but for the most part it is, and to their credit, they're playing well. They've already had their hiccups to start the season, but it's imperative now, using their experience, to navigate this turbulent festive season, which traditionally is a bit of a banana skin for us. So, yeah, I'm not going to be reactionary. It's match week 14, match week 15, early days. To be honest, I just want to be in the race. A good friend of mine said once, you don't win the title now, but you can go a long way to losing it during this period. So it's just making sure that we don't smash the boat into the rocks and sink the ship. So, look, tough times. Credit to Man City and Liverpool where it's due, because they're setting a benchmark for everybody else that have done it for some time now.
I just want to acknowledge this comment before we go to you, Rob. It says here, why is it an assumption that Chelsea needs to win the title? I personally don't think it's an assumption that Chelsea need to win a title. But if I was a Chelsea fan, I would be absolutely livid if they're not in this title race. I think it's an assumption that Chelsea, as fans keep reminding us, as the champions of Europe, you would expect to be in and around the title race. And I would say with the squad you have and, the investment, if you're not around the title race, to me, that's a failure. You can't be doing what Arsenal and Man United are doing at the moment, and luckily for Chelsea, they aren't. But I'm not expecting Chelsea to win a title. They're still my favourites. But they need to be in and around that race, surely. I don't know about you, Robbie. How are you feeling about the title race at this point? 3-horse race, or do you think another team could sneak back in? West Ham aren't going away.
No, I still think it's I think those top 3 teams will be the most consistent from the look of it from this point to the rest of the season. Look, we're supposed to be a 4-horse race. I don't think, no matter even how good we get, I think there's too much of a gap to pull back unless something drastic happens. Like I said, I don't think the Chelsea people need to lose their minds at the moment, man. It's just one loss. I think if anything, it's just their performances. I think they need to be it's been a few draws now at home. Obviously, they had the loss now in the last minute. I think they're definitely going to be in this title race. Everyone's going to have hiccups. City started the season not great. They had a loss first game of the season, and look where they are now. And we had a 4-1 win against Leeds, and we're flying high. And look where we ended up in the last few weeks. So look, there's more than half of a season, way more than half of a season to go. And we're just seeing from this week alone how quickly results and games change. So, yeah, look, Chelsea's definitely in a title race. And I think exactly what you said, as champions of Europe and the way their team is, and with a world-class manager in Tuchel, why wouldn't they be in a title race?
Absolutely. RJ, one question before we wrap up the Chelsea chat. I've got some stuff I need to get off my chest.
You think they're going to end up the Chelsea chat? For those on the line, man, this is going to be a long night if you think it's going to end anytime soon.
What's the fix for Chelsea's front line? How long and patient can you be with Big Rom?
Yeah, well, Rooney, if you've been watching him lately, he's been out for a while. He came for 10 minutes on the other day, 20 minutes of that, the game after, and 45 minutes. Tuchel came out and said that he's not even physically ready for the rigours of 90-minute football. So he started off the season very strongly, had a bit of a dip in form, which is natural for someone to just come back to the league, got himself injured at the worst possible time, and has played 3 games of a total of 75 minutes in 3 appearances. So it's very early days to start getting super critical of Big Rom. It's the whole front 3, to be honest. It's a bit of us not getting the best out of him and him not suiting us perfectly. So it's a bit of a collective solution that's required. But the big elephant in the room is, yes, everybody goes through injuries. Yes, we got squad depth, but not all injuries are created equally. And there is a disproportionate amount of injuries in key positions. We've got our world-class midfielders that have been out injured, and our former player of the season, Ben Chilwell, at the moment, along with Reece James. Ben's out probably for the season. Kovacic has been out for over 8 to 10 games. Conte as well, consistently unreliable. Jorginho has been reported now to be playing with an injury, and you've got a 37-year-old being our best defender at the moment who can't play 3 games a week. So, again, it's not one of those things where we're crying poor about the squad we've got, but the personalities and the profiles aren't the same. Marcus Alonso is a good defender, he's a good left wing back. Azpilicueta is very experienced, but does he offer the same dynamism as Ben Chilwell? No, he doesn't. So just because you have squad depth doesn't mean they're like-for-like swaps. And that's what we're struggling to deal with at the moment, because no manager goes into a season expecting to have that acute amount of injuries in a short, tense period of time. So it's about riding the wave. But you look at the West Ham game, we had some really good moments. Statistic-wise, we were on top, which is to be expected, although playing West Ham at that stadium has traditionally been difficult. The first goal, Jorginho back pass, didn't need to pass it backward. Mendy should have cleared it first time, didn't need to make that mistake. Mason Mount scores a cracking goal. The second goal for Bowen, great finish. Where was the defence? They were too slow to get to him. And the third goal, we all know how that went. So it's very rare to have two major mistakes happen in one game that cost you the result. That stuff doesn't happen. And you look at the Burnley and the United games, should have won those games, didn't. But we won the one against Watford, shouldn't have won that. So these things have a tendency to level themselves out. It's just a matter of not hitting the panic button, like Rob said. Take it for what it is. Work on the details, as Tuchel mentioned in the comments recently, and just hopefully, we start to get a few more of these players coming back in and showing that little bit more. Because, as I said, it's not over yet. But the more work we do to lose points, it makes it that much more challenging to claw it back come the business end of the season. So I'm not a reactionary fan. It hurts. Chelsea do panic after every loss because that's the standards we set for ourselves as being a team that aims high. But we really just got, if I'm talking to a Chelsea community, just calm down. It's not over, and just look ahead. Don't look backwards, and just respect the fact that this is you've got to play the long game. Okay, so for me, I've got not much more to add to that because it's just
very
pointless.
motivational.
I've already digested it all, mate. I've played every single scenario in my head, and unless we start losing 2, 3, 4 games in a row and the performances have been poor, that's when I'll start getting a little bit head scratching. But for now, I take the result in isolation. I take the Watford performance as a bit of a poor game, but again, you take out 4 or 5 starters in any team and show a cohesive performance, and I'll say, okay, well done. But until that happens, I acknowledge that the situation is what it is.
Fair call. Right, let's jump over to my side. Al saying, your little heart seems broken after this morning's result. I don't even know. I don't even know where to start. You've got your popcorn. Good man. What I kind of sat and did, because I knew I'd be stumbling into a landmine field with this one tonight, because you know what, I don't mind smashing people with the banter, so I'm fully expecting it to be returned tenfold. The way you're chewing that popcorn's really grinding my gears though, but that's right. I'm just not going to look at you, Rob. Right? I want to talk about a few things that for me at this point in the season are I can't use the words I want to use because we keep this G-rated, but are causing me great angst and frustration. I want to start by talking about the squad, because to me, the group of people that have the biggest impact on any result are the players. Manager's important. I'm going to get to the manager, believe me. But the players. When I look at our squad, there are way too many players that are not doing their job. I don't buy that players in this team don't know what their job is, because we are probably the most overcoached team in world football. Every player would have a full manuscript of where to be, how to move, where to pass, when to run. So I'm not buying that people don't know what to do. I look at some key players in there. Aubameyang, I've defended him as long as I can. He's done. He's finished. The malaria from last season, the things that happened, it's done. He's not going to cut it at this top European level anymore.
That effort at the end, Scott, what was that about? Jeez, tame as. I thought it was Timo Werner for a minute.
Honestly. I hope you got Thomas Partey in this list, mate, because
he's next, Robbie.
Yep.
He's next. I made the stupid mistake last week with Tom doing my combined 11 of putting Thomas Partey in. I actually think Tom was bang on the money putting Lokonga in, because he's been our best midfielder this season upon reflection. Problem is, he's the one getting dropped. We had Granit Xhaka return to training this week well ahead of schedule, and he's straight back into the starting lineup with 90 minutes. It's absolutely insane that our best central midfielder isn't getting game time in these games. It's beyond me. Thomas Partey, and hats off to him. He came out himself and said he would give his time at Arsenal so far a 4 out of 10. So he's acknowledging it, and not many players will do that. He's acknowledging that he hasn't been good enough. Every time he shoots, a little piece of my soul dies because I know it's going into row Z. So he's breaking up so much play. He's been sloppy on the ball. He's not done what he needed to do. This morning, I would have started Xhaka and Lokonga in the middle. I think Thomas Partey needed to be on the bench. Lacazette, he was the man that I was crying out for to come in and get us started to revolutionise the attack, and he's done that by and large. But this morning, no good. Yeah. No good. Those are probably my senior guys that I really, really want to call out because to me, they've been underperforming, particularly Aubameyang as a captain of the club. I think it was just an absolutely poor performance from him. So that's the players covered. Let's get to the manager. Again, I've tried to be positive with him. I've tried to go out of my way to say that he's developing and he has improved. And I want to preface what I'm about to say by pointing out, and sorry for the extended rant, but I know the live chat are enjoying it. I haven't even read the comments yet, but we'll get there in a sec. Maybe if you cover that, RJ, for just while I'm mid-rant. The manager has improved. I want to put that out there. I think he has improved from when he started at Arsenal. I think he's made some good signings. I think he has done that. There's two things I think he's done. And the next point I'm going to make is I don't actually think it's too late for him to turn it around. I genuinely don't think it's too late. We go on another 10-game run, it's looking different. But there are some serious question marks I have over this manager. The substitutions this morning were a disgrace. To bring on Eddie Nketiah, a striker who, quite frankly, is not good enough for Arsenal. The fact that we were actively shopping him around in the window and none of these smaller clubs came in to take him tells you everything you need to know. He came out on the record saying he's not re-signing. What's Arteta do since he said that? Giving him minutes.
Crazy.
Giving him minutes out wide.
Yeah.
When you've got £72 million Pepe sitting on the bench. Now, has Pepe been great this season? Absolutely not.
And maybe that says more about him, though. Maybe that says more about him, the fact that he's willing to pick some guy who doesn't want to commit to the club. So I'd actually be pointing the microscope at that, to be honest.
What message are you sending to the players in your squad?
Is this to try and keep Nketiah, like make him happy? Or
But this is classic Arteta. He's just stubborn. He's so stubborn. He did this with Balogun, a player who was promised that he was going to, be someone in contention for some first team minutes this season. He started at the beginning because of COVID. We haven't seen him again. He's been in the under-23s. Loan him out. Send him to develop. Some of the Premier League's best players have all had loan spells. I remember Harry Kane going out on loan. He's probably the best striker in the league. So we did that with Balogun. We're caving to Eddie Nketiah. Just get rid of him. You're sending a message that the way to get into the lineup is to go out and publicly whinge. Ridiculous. I look at some other subs there. You have Pepe on the bench, doesn't get a minute. Aubameyang sitting on the bench when Eddie Nketiah comes on the field. Play Aubameyang and Lacazette. It's ridiculous. So for Arteta, the subs have been poor. Tactically, we've been coming out, scoring a goal, as we did at Old Trafford, and going into our shell. You cannot change your fundamental football philosophy by saying we're going to go out and attack and get the goal and control possession. Once you got the goal, we're going to completely shut it down and just defend and absorb pressure. Oh, bugger, we've conceded. Go back out and go and get that goal because now we're under pressure. We've got fans turning. We've got a crowd jumping. Go and score, go and score. And then generally we'll concede again. You cannot ask your team to fundamentally shift like that. Arsene Wenger's teams always went out and played the Arsenal way. They went and they played to our strengths maybe in the big games you'd consider the opposition. But fundamentally, the way that we just try and hold a lead, we're not cut out for that. We are not cut out for that. We don't have a CDM. So I don't know how we're going and holding a lead. That's been grinding my gears. That's absolutely been grinding my gears. I want to look at a couple of live chat comments before I get my last. I've got 2 more points, then I'm going to shut up. Erdegaard, our best attacker. Gabriel, always a silent star. I have to say both of them were really good this morning. Erdegaard is not someone that I'm a massive fan of, but he's looked quite good in the last 2 games. Gunaretti.
Tierney was decent today as well, I thought.
Tierney was good, but he came off. He brought Tierney off. And as soon as Tavares came on, he had an absolute stinker. Another comment here on Pepe. Arteta not subbing Pepe shows you that he's stubborn. And can you turn it around with this? Look, I think you can turn it around. I never think it's too late because we've got a talented squad. But man, oh man, if he can't fix his stubbornness, he's got to go. He's got to go. I want to quickly talk about our fan base because there's a little bit of an issue with that as well. Our fans are spending more time worrying about AFTV and criticising negative Arsenal fans than they are about what they're seeing on the pitch. The most important judge of how a football game is going is what you see with your eyes. AFTV have no impact on the results at the moment. I don't see our players sitting in the dressing room before the game watching what AFTV have to say. Our fan base need to pull their heads in, start looking at the problems and calling them out. Because you can't call out the Cronkies at this point. We invested heavily. They backed him. You can't call out AFTV. You've got to call out the players and the managers.
But it's a funny thing, isn't it, though? Because, you lost the game. Everton have picked up 2 points in 24, been absolutely woeful. You guys should have blown them off the park. Didn't blow them off the park. But let's look back at the game. They had a goal disallowed. They could have had a red card, should have had a red card. You scored. It was a nice, they should have had a goal. Shouldn't have been offside, but that's a separate thing. But you were 1-1. You guys hit the post and Kedia should have scored that. You win that game 2-1 because you're all over them at that point. They scored their second goal cracker, could have scored a third. But you win that game 2-1, this whole narrative doesn't even exist. It's a great come from behind win again because you almost threw it away but won it. You got a hard-earned victory away at Goodison Park and back in the winning circle. Do you know what I mean? Is it one of those situations where are the fan base blowing this out of proportion like they tend to?
No, mate. No, look, I can see.
That would have been papering over the cracks if you guys won today.
Yeah. Look,
really though, it could have been a momentum booster knowing they almost threw it away.
That's what happened with United and Ollie for most of this year. But
they've been in better form than United, Robbie. Arsenal have been on a pretty good run aside from the last couple games, so this could have just been the restart of that.
They've been in form against teams they should be beating. This is where we said a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about top 4, we were saying, are we worried or do we think they're a top 4 challenger? And I said, they're beating all the right teams at the moment, but in the past 4 weeks, they've played the big boys and haven't come up with anything. We're not one of the big boys. We beat them. They got done by Liverpool. They got done by City at the start of the season.
Yeah, the bigger clubs, but the teams like Everton, which they're expected to beat, had they gone and actually secured that win and they started beating the teams that they should be beating, is this papered over the cracks? No, because let's face it, some of the teams that they have been beating haven't been great performances, but nobody's been saying anything because they've been getting the results, and results are what matters most.
When I think of papering over the cracks, I think our performances, even trying to look at it quite neutral, even our performances on that 10-game win streak have been poor. In
some
football, most, I would say. We haven't clicked. I haven't walked away from an Arsenal game, besides maybe Villa and Spurs, and said we've clicked. We've really clicked. We switched it on. And the fact that we're not clicking now is a real concern. I think West Ham will do us. Watching what West Ham did against Chelsea, mate, West Ham will beat us. I won't be tipping an Arsenal win or a draw. I'm tipping West Ham for all 3 when that comes. But quite frankly, we have no excuses to be this poor. We have no European football. We're playing one game a week. We're playing significantly less than the other teams that we want to be competing with. So the fact that we are looking just off the pace in games, to me, is concerning. And I think fundamentally we are overcoached. I genuinely feel that with some of the players we've got some flair players. Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, even Aubameyang. Like, these are guys that want to go and play. But I feel like they're so overcoached that they don't get to go out and just play football. Go and play football, bounce off your mates. Saka and Smith-Rowe have been playing together for years. Now, there was some bad luck this morning, a blatant red card. If that's Granit Xhaka that steps on someone's face like that, it's a red instantly. I don't care what anyone says. You can both try and debate it with me if you want, but you won't change my mind because he looked down, then he looked away, then the contact came with studs to the face. I don't care how it happens. You put your studs on another player's face, you're off the pitch for me. It wasn't completely accidental. Again, he took a glance. You watch the replay, he took a glance and he's looked away. And there have been studs on the face that drew blood. To me, that is a red. There's no doubt about that. But you can't be walking away from the game.
Red as well, I thought.
You thought it was a red?
Yeah, I thought it was red, and I thought the other one could have been a red as well when he went in on his studs and the Achilles as well.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not going to sit and blame refs, but I'm used to that kind of stuff because it does seem to happen a lot. And I only think back to my favorite ever red card, David Luiz at Wolves. How many times have I brought that up on this show?
Well, I think about the favourite ones that weren't given, as you know, and Robbie knows exactly the ones I'm talking about. But it happens. That just, I think, shows you consistently inconsistent refs are. So you can argue agendas all day, but like you said,
there's no agenda.
You can't isolate that one moment given the rest of the performance. But I don't know. It's just, I know our fan base has a tendency to melt down after every sort of bad result. Yeah. So do you guys though. So look, had you won that game 2-1, papering over cracks, maybe not. But it's where do you go from here now? Because you've got an interesting set of fixtures after, so.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I may not know where we go from here. Southampton is our next match. If we don't come back with 3 points, those of you that like AFTV, those of you from other fans that like watching the meltdown, you watch what happens if we don't get all 3 against Southampton because it is going to hit the roof. What's kind of worrying for me, and again, I prefaced everything I said with, it's not too late. We can still turn this around. It's a long season. But even fan accounts that have been like strictly Arteta in and have been backing him and shooting down anyone that criticise him, they're slowly starting to turn. The momentum has started to shift. So if we don't get the 3 points at Southampton, boy, oh boy, it's going to blow. I'm telling you. Because
then you've got West Ham after that, and that becomes a 6-pointer in itself. So
and we're not beating West Ham. We're not. I'll say it now. We're not beating West Ham. No one tip it because it's not going to happen.
And Scott, just in a realistic thing, just say, like you said, you maybe do cop another 1 or 2 disappointing results, and it's really getting like how it was with us with Oli. Obviously, we've replaced him. Obviously, Conte's gone to Spurs now. We're seeing West Ham is flying at the moment. So if they genuinely want to try and get in that top 4, and they do axe him, who genuinely is on the market now? I know I've asked you this before, but it's everyone. I listened to AFTV a few times today, and people were saying just get him out and get anyone. But it's not just as easy as that. There's not a lot on the market really right now, and I know you say yes, Arsenal is a big club, but to get someone in and like
there is no one to get in.
That's what I mean. That's the biggest thing. Who is there available?
In the most respectful way, I don't think Ralf Rangnick is necessarily someone that 12 months ago Man United would have wanted to bring in to replace Oli if they got rid of him. Like, it shows that the market at the moment is crazy. There actually isn't anyone at this point. People talk about Ten Hag, but why would you leave where you are right now to come to Arsenal? To me, my honest opinion is give Arteta to the end of the season. Give him to the end of the season. I know that other clubs who have pulled the trigger are starting to show signs of improvement. Spurs, Villa, Norwich, Newcastle have picked up some points, and United, of course. But I genuinely don't think we'll be able to get someone good enough in now to turn it around to the extent we need. I think they've got to just ride it out, give him to the end of the season. And if we're not happy with where he is, come the end of the season, don't hesitate, don't waste time, say thank you, see you later. And then bring in someone that you can maybe offer a bit of a war chest to and say, you know what, come manage Arsenal. It's going to be a clean slate, new season. You've got this much to spend. Come and manage us.
Is there no threshold there, though? Like, is that the tolerance you'd maintain regardless of where you are, from 6th to 16th, for example?
Not regardless, of course. I'm
not talking relegation, but I'm talking about below 10th, for example.
I genuinely don't see us getting out of the top 10 and finishing there.
I don't see that.
I'm not even entertaining it, but it's a crazy season. I still do think that we'll finish in and around European spots. I'm not necessarily saying the Champions League. I'm thinking more Europa. We'll fight for those, but mate, we've got a fight in our hands, and I just think we've got to ride it out now. Ride it out, and then if Arteta's not the man, he hasn't shown that, bring in someone who you can say, you've got these players, you've got a clean slate this season, you've got this much money to spend, go and do your thing. Can
I just say something on the West Ham situation? Because I know people are getting waxing lyrical about West Ham, they're going great, etc. They're top 4, that's a phenomenal achievement. But I'm not going to sit here and start overhyping them. They've gotten big results against us in Liverpool, which, yes, they deserve double ticks. Their form, they've drawn with Brighton, they've lost to Wolves, and they've lost to City, which everybody does generally. But to start benchmarking them and saying, oh, we can't play on their level and their level that they aspire to be at, they're not infallible. They're a team that's playing good, but they've shown already in the last 5 games that they've played that they've experienced both sides of the bell curve. So, again, form is temporary. It's interesting to see consistency is the key word here. Again, the ladder doesn't lie, but it's early days. Arsenal, you say, you've written them off, don't talk about beating them. But hang on, who talked about Wolves beating them? Who talked about Brighton getting a result? So for me, that's getting a little bit over the top to say that you can't get a result against West Ham, because they're not a Manchester City and they're not a Liverpool, even though they've beaten Liverpool. They're a team that they've also got their own injury problems, particularly at the back. They beat Chelsea with 2 gilt-edged mistakes. Let's put that on the table, okay? So Hammers, great team, compliment them, but let's not put them up here, because they're a team that's here aspiring to get to there. That's all I'll say about the Hammers.
I agree with RJ on that as well. Everyone's gone crazy up there. They're going to get a Champions League spot. I think Leicester in the past couple seasons have had more than enough in the bag to be that team to get that 4th, and they've still dropped it at the end of the season. So, like I said, early days, and like I said, most of those wins I think have actually come in the London Stadium. So, if they can go to an Anfield, or if they can go to a Stamford Bridge or something and get those results without maybe a few mistakes.
And you beat them too, Rob. And that's not an insult to United, but you guys weren't playing well. So
yeah, exactly, and we did beat them. Yeah, there was one when we had the hay save at the end. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I mean, look, and just touching on Tom's point quickly, I don't think the Cronkies are good owners, but the main criticism and the main control that fans will generally say is, have you backed the team financially? And quite frankly, they did back the manager. They've shown loyalty to the manager. They've supported him. Is he the right manager? Time will tell. But yeah, look, I would swap the Cronkies for a more invested ownership group in an instant, but I don't think that's going to happen. What do you think of this, RJ? Gunaretti. Honestly, I try and lure Emma Hayes of Chelsea. She's a proven winner and worked at Arsenal before. What do you think about that? Do you think it's far away, or do you think it's getting closer where we'll see a manager jump from the WSL into the Premier League? Because look, Emma Hayes, certainly if there was a manager who has the credentials, it would be her because she's been quite a success. Do you think
she's
she could do
been
it?
smashing it, hasn't she? She's done really good with Chelsea in the domestic treble, and you hear her on punditry and some of the commentary she offers, and she clearly knows what's going on. She's very astute with her analysis and clearly good at motivating her troops and has a really good game plan. And not just the FA Cup win, but generally throughout the whole domestic campaign has been quite strong. Obviously, there is a big difference between professionals in both gender games, but that's not to say that if there ever was to be elite, she's probably at the forefront of making that transition and opening up the pathway to those aspiring for that challenge. But for now, I would say for all parties, it's probably good that she's running a hot streak. She's riding a good hand, and she'll want to continue setting legacies and setting records for her current job at Chelsea, so she can never be replaced type thing. But going forward, there's no reason why. There's other clubs that aren't going well at the moment in the men's leagues to say, we need someone that's got an identity. We need someone that's got a proven track record. We're currently not going good. Why don't we bring someone in and try our hand at someone who has demonstrated credentials? So, yeah, there's no reason why she can't make the leap. It's just when. That's the million-dollar question. When is a good time? And which project represents the best transition to success?
And there would obviously be constraints, of a female manager in a dressing room and all of that with male players, but I don't see how it's not doable. I still think we've got a little bit of a way to go before we do see it. But again, Emma Hayes is someone who, if you're going to see it, you would probably put your bucks on her.
Yeah, the right project means all the difference. So that's why I'm saying it's part of a transition. You'd probably find somewhere where the jump wouldn't be overbearing and somewhere that they could equally accept her coming in from where she is coming from and allow her to impart her knowledge without having the whole ego of being in a top team, working under some top managers and really trying to work out being a guinea pig sort of team. You know what I mean? So it'll be fascinating. And for all intents and purposes, I hope she's given an opportunity because I do rate her coaching quite highly.
Yeah. Boys, just quickly want to chuck this up on the screen. We're finally done before the Arsenal talk. Thank you for letting me rant. It's been some good therapy. But I want to chuck this up. Coming out in Football London, and someone threw it out in the live chat too. I think it was Tom. COVID outbreak for Spurs. COVID outbreak in their camp. What do you think about this? What do you think? Now, I am going to go on the record and say I don't care who it is. I don't want to see a fixture move because there's COVID in a camp, because it was all fine and dandy at the start of the season for us to play with COVID in our camp. So if they move fixtures to any other club, and I said this at the time, I'm going to be furious. I'm going to be absolutely furious because they set a benchmark. Apparently, about 6 players and staff with COVID in the camp. Obviously, you wish them well. You hope that everyone recovers really quickly and bounces back ASAP. But yeah, do you think they might look at postponing some fixtures? And would you support that, Robbie?
Look, we all know how tight the schedule is, number one. But I think Spurs are the ones actually that already the game got cancelled a week already ago, so they've already got a game to be caught up on already. So that's the first kind of conundrum, is fitting games in. But yeah, look, I kind of agree with you, Scotty. If you got one rule for all kind of thing, and if you guys had to go through it at the start of the season, mate, if they got to field the under 23 teams to go through it, then so be it.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Arch?
For me, I don't want to see any changes. There's too much of this chop and changing. What I want to see is them hopefully having a plan that's taken effect for scenarios like this, and the show goes on. That said, you can't legislate for every infinite scenario. There's a plausible set of scenarios that I'm sure they've already got in the playbook handy. What's important is to keep the situation contained so it doesn't blow out of control and doesn't affect other games and fixtures, because as you know, there's already a huge set of fixture backlog about to happen, particularly with AFCON and other international club World Cups and the like. The reality is I don't want another project restart. I want continuity. So it's so important that early diagnosis, keep it contained, and let's just hope that everybody involved, that they get through it relatively unscathed.
Absolutely agree with you there, my man. Boys, before we jump to the Premier League, we've talked, and if you're just jumping in now, please make sure you hit that like button. You have missed Arsenal rants. You have missed Chelsea talk. You've missed Rob munching popcorn and gloating a little bit.
I'm going to have to go get another apple. I've had enough of this popcorn.
Mate, yeah,
United smiles. Look at all the people in the live chat. Rob is so happy with his popcorn and United smiling. You're in 6th place. Calm down, United fans. Did
I say anything?
No. You said it's the popcorn. The popcorn's saying it all.
The popcorn is just enjoying the Ram. I haven't even said nothing about our derby win or nothing, mate. I've just kept it straight down the line, and I'm just enjoying it for what it is.
Look how smug he is, Scott. Look how smug he is, just sitting there all gloating in his own way.
I learned my lesson early on, mate. The bumblebee came back and bit me on the arse.
Stung you in the bum, didn't it?
Stung you, right?
Boys, just before we move on, we have 18 people in here at the moment. The video at this point, I'm just checking, has 14 likes. I at least want to get it up to 18. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. If you missed Arsenal rants, Chelsea commiserations, and some smugness, make sure you come back and rewatch this tomorrow. We have been getting an issue where streams have been taking about 24 hours on YouTube to come good. No idea why. It's a YouTube thing. So just make sure you come back for that. Anything you boys wanted to say about the Premier League? We've been going 46 minutes. Speak now or forever hold your peace, because we're going to jump to the Champions League.
Robbie?
I'll just give a quick 20 seconds on Spurs. Look, I think they're flying under the radar slowly. Again, as what I said about Arsenal, they haven't played one of the big boys and been tested yet. They're winning games they should be. The Conte effect, I think is starting to,
Has he frozen on your screen?
Yeah, hopefully that's what Spurs do going forward.
That's how
Robbie, what were you saying?
Frozen.
Conte just got sacked, apparently. Is that what you said?
Yeah. No, look, I just think they're flying under the radar. They've got a game in hand. So if they do win that, they do go into the 4th place as well. And like I said, I'm not going to judge them until they come up against one of the big boys again. But, we've got to keep an eye on Spurs at the moment because, and they've got a few injuries and Harry Kane is not firing at all on one Premier League goal still, Lucas Moura scored a banger during the week and Heung-min Son is doing what he does. So we've got to keep an eye on them as well.
Yeah, they've got Brighton away. I've just had a look. They've got Brighton away, Leicester away, and then Liverpool. So, you look at those fixtures on face value, at least the first two, very winnable based on form at the moment. If they can get the job done against those two, I think it makes the Liverpool clash that little bit more exciting for the neutral, to be honest. What were you thinking, Scott?
Yeah, I genuinely thought that Harry Kane would start firing under Conte. I made the bold move of putting him into my fantasy Premier League, which he's now swiftly exited. He's got the same amount of Premier League goals, as Fred. Fred's got more. There you go. Like, to me, that's insane. It's absolutely insane. But the fact that they're starting to edge some results without Harry Kane firing just makes you think that if he can start to score, they could become more of a force and they could be right back in serious contention for the top 4. At the moment, I think they're still on that little bit of new manager bounce, and I think we will see more when they're tested against stronger opponents. But look, as painful as it is to say, credit to them, they're making the right moves at this point. And I think they beat Man United to Conte. Not that I know Robbie doesn't think he's the kind of manager they'd have wanted. And if we were to pull the trigger on Arteta, I would have been more than happy with Conte coming in. So they acted quickly and they've reaped the rewards for that. So, anything you wanted to add, Arj, before we jump on?
No, just it's a very Conte-esque sort of entrance. Sharpened the defence up at the back, focusing on the strengths, really getting some of the the lower key players or lesser key players to start really performing above themselves a little bit. Big caveat, they haven't versed any superstar teams just yet, but they're getting the job done. And we all know that just because you're a star team doesn't mean you're going to get a star result. And to their credit, they are winning. So long may it not continue.
Yeah, that's right.
Back that up.
That's right. Oh, have we lost Robbie again? No, we got him. We're good. All right, let's look at the Champions League really quickly. We won't go too in depth. Group A, let's see how that's taking shape, because you've got PSG and Club Brugge and Leipzig and Man City playing.
Dead rubber group, mate.
It's a dead group. Anything you guys want to say on that before we move to the next group?
No, move on. Like I said, they're both that's already fixed. City's already got top spot and PSG second, so that's done.
Let's look at Group B. We've got AC and Liverpool playing. That should be a cracker. Group. Porto and Madrid. Now, this one is Liverpool, but boy, oh boy, any of those teams could snatch that second place. How do you see this group playing out, Rob?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think Liverpool's one of those teams that wouldn't be just like, okay, we smashed this group, I'm going to put a second team out. Is the game in Milan or is it at Anfield?
I think it's in Milan. Let's have a quick look. It is in Milan.
Okay, well, yeah, so maybe that does change it. Maybe like if it's a traveling game, they might not take all their big boys over. They've already qualified in first.
They won't. I very much doubt they will risk any injuries, especially knowing AFCON's around the corner.
Yeah, true. So, look, this could be a big opportunity. Look, AC Milan are flying in the Serie A at the moment, so this is a big opportunity for them to, if they can get a win or a good result over here, then they can get into the 16. So that could be a low-key cracker.
What about you, Arch? How's this group play out?
Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And not so long ago, AC Milan, they were playing well, but they hadn't been getting results, and they were out. They were very much out the door. But the last match day really opened things up for them, and they know now it's in their hands. Like to an extent, like I know that because Porto and Atletico, because they've both got it to play for, it's going to be hugely tense. So because of that fact, it does open up an opportunity where you know that they have to go for it. Like, you know what I mean? So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what Liverpool side they actually do put out. But equally, interestingly for AC as well, because they're going so well in Serie A, maybe that's just their focus because they've got a slight opportunity to progress in the Champions League. But I dare say their target would be more on a domestic front this campaign. So do they want to overcommit for a very small opportunity? Who knows? Fortune favors the brave, but we'll see.
Yeah, it could be even just a little bit of a reward of money for getting into the next. If they can get into the next pot, the dollars are pretty rewardable.
I think we'll actually see 2 draws in this match. I think all 4 teams will share points. To be completely honest, Group C, I'm not sure how this table's looking. Let's have a quick squeeze.
Well, Ajax have smashed them totally.
Yeah, Dortmund's officially in Europa League, so that's already done to that one. So that's
dead. What about Dortmund in the Europa League? Isn't that a shock?
Yep, that's a shock. Well, that's it. At the moment, like I said, Atletico's last in that group above that we just said. They could not maybe even get, depending on results, they could be in Europa League or nothing at all. And then, like I said, Barcelona, they've got to go up against Bayern in Germany. So if they don't get a result there, they'll be in the Europa League. When was the last time you've seen Barcelona in Europa League? I don't even know if I've ever seen it before.
Oh, we can only hope.
Yeah, and then there's obviously the Inter Milan, Real Madrid. That's the top of the group game. That's actually one that matters the most for obvious reasons for me. But I think we're going to go all out for this, and equally, I know Real Madrid will do the same. So that's going to be one of the cracking games of the week for me.
Yeah, I'm just going to chuck the screen back up. I didn't want to make anyone dizzy as I was scrolling. Group E, let's have a quick look. Bayern, Barca, Benfica, Dinamo Kiev. I would love to see Benfica leapfrog Barca, and I think it'll happen.
Yeah, I think I can't see them beating Bayern. Yeah,
Bayern Munich they're just a ruthless team. Like, I can see them playing their full strength team because they would want to be the ones to help put Barca in the mud. I can genuinely see him just going all out to snatch any chance from Barcelona. Benfica would need to do the business against Dinamo, but I think they'll be okay to do that. Do you think Barca are going to Europa, Robbie?
Yeah, I definitely want to see that. I'd love to see it.
You can tell that we've all got teams who have been burnt by Barca.
Haven't we all? Jeez.
In the past. I still cry thinking about the 06 final. United's group. United are already through. Is this one dead, Robbie? Is it United, Villarreal, or
we're the only. It's dead for us because we've topped the group no matter what, even if we lose. We've things. So I'm hoping we're playing young boys at home. I'm actually hoping we play our young boys. To be honest, just I'm hoping there's a big squad rotation. I'm hoping a few of the young boys play. I hope the players that are just coming back from injury, or the players that are normally the squad players, like your Matas, your Amads, your Wan-Bissaka now, he hasn't played for a few weeks.
It's a free hit out, Rob, isn't it? It's such a massive free hit out. This is perfect for Ragnick now to see who we can work with.
And we're still going to top this group. So, yeah, this is just a free match. The main thing for me is rest all the boys for the weekend. That's all I care about.
Atalanta hosting Villarreal will be interesting.
That'll be a good game.
You boys watch more Serie A than me. I think that league's in the mud. I'm shocked Messi didn't go there.
The 7-time Ballon d'Or winner, you're right. He should have went there.
Hey, how many league goals has he got this season, Mr. Ballon d'Or?
Not as many Ballon d'Ors, I can assure you. That's for sure.
Pretty sad. Do you think Atalanta take this or Villarreal, Rob? I know you would have watched more of these teams than us having United in there. Who takes it?
Atalanta and Bergamo is very, very strong, man. So I actually think they'll get the job done, and they'll get the second place here because very, very strong. And like I said, they're just one of those teams. It doesn't matter who they're playing; they play the same style. They just want to score. They just want to outscore you. They're not great defensively, but they can score some goals. They're one of those teams, 3, 4, 5 goals.
It's so exciting to watch as a
They are, man. Gasperini hasn't played great, so yeah, very good attacking team.
Right. Let's look at this group. Group G. We've got Salzburg hosting Sevilla and Wolfsburg hosting Lille. This group could go any which way. Look at that. Tell you what, it's been very tight. Just quickly, who's going to top this group?
Who's playing each other? So
yeah, that's what I was trying to say as well. Yeah.
So you got Salzburg hosting Sevilla and Wolfsburg hosting Lille.
Wolfsburg,
I think Salzburg will top it, to be honest. I've got a feeling about this. I don't know why it's so congested here, but I don't know. I think Salzburg at home, it's going to be tough, but because it's Lille, Wolfsburg.
I don't want to say Sevilla in the 16. They're just another one of those teams I just don't like to watch.
We liked them. We liked them last season, that's for sure.
Check this cheeky bugger's comment out.
He doesn't understand. He just doesn't understand. Don't go too hard on him.
Everyone mocked us when we made it for 17 or so years straight, 20 years, whatever it was. And now look at everyone. Top 4 is a trophy. Let's get in the top 4. Yeah. But you mocked us for it for 20 years, right?
Now there's a genuine competition now, Scott. Top 4 was a given back then, wasn't
it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. It sure was because we did it so easily. Let's move on. Cheeky bugger in the chat. Group H.
Yeah, I think this. Oh yeah, you go first. I think both teams. I think both Chelsea and Juve are just going to try and. I can't say the goal difference thing, but look, I think Chelsea's got to go to. They've got to go to Zenit, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be tough because of our injury issues
100%.
at the moment.
So look, I think Juve at home. I think they'll clean up Malmo. So look, if I don't know, I'm sure Chelsea are definitely the favourites, but
Chelsea have 6 goals on them. So I think Chelsea are okay.
If they get a draw or something like that, and then I think Juve at home will win. Look, I think both teams are going to go for it just to top the group. So there's definitely an opportunity here.
Definitely an opportunity for Juve, but that's why I'm very curious to see who lines up and how we respond. Because as you know, when we start using our backup players, they don't just naturally gel. So I don't know. It's a bit of a juggling act because we've qualified and we've proven last season that even if you come first, you don't always get an easier team. So sometimes
100%.
coming second, as long as you get through, which we've already qualified, does he run the risk of adding to the injury woes? Because Havertz got himself injured the other day and had to come off. So just another one to the injury list for us. So it's a difficult one. You'd think we should beat Zenit, let's be honest. But at the same time, I wouldn't be too hard on him if he went on a bit of a rotation spree because he's got the bigger picture in mind.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, it was only 1-0 at the Bridge, wasn't it? At the first leg. So, yeah.
Yes, I believe it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Lukaku maybe scored that, I think.
It's
Havertz,
been a real ride tonight. We've hit an hour. Let's wrap this bad boy up with some quick fires. Is there anything I've forgotten that you guys want
Just
to add?
quickly, the predictions results. You guys have clawed the gap on me, but still on top of the league, because I can't say it for my club, but I'll say top of the predictions league. So I'm happy to take that.
Oh, there you go.
Wow, 1 point between you two. I'm on 76. I thought you told me I had a good week, Robbie.
You did. I got 13. You got like 11 points, man. So that's why.
I still reckon Daniel's not counting my points properly. He's taking 5 off me every week because I'm an Arsenal fan.
No, you got a good round.
We're going to have a chat, Daniel. The payment didn't go through, mate. But no, all good. Trying to keep it above board. I like it. And FPL, I've noticed Scott and I were pretty neck and neck. And Rob, you've dropped off the pace a little bit, but still well in front of the IFT crew.
Yeah, we'll definitely chuck that up a little bit on Thursday.
Sure.
And talk about our changes that we've made. Boys, let's turn the heat down a little bit. Now, I've actually got a cracking headache after that rant. I ranted myself into a tension headache just here. Quick fires. You have some prepared, Robbie? I know you do. RJ, you got any prepared, or you want one of us to kick on?
You go first. It's all up here, mate. Don't worry.
Boys, maintaining my theme of frustration and anger, which has been prevalent tonight. What's something that wouldn't bother most people, but really grinds your gears?
I don't know. Look, I'll put some random stuff out. I have OCD, so any kind of when people don't put anything back in the right order, or if it's in the wrong place and stuff like that anything like that, or even like something as dumb as if I go to someone's house and the way I have my toilet paper, if they haven't got it, I'll actually change it. So yeah, it's just more my OCD.
That's you, Rob. That's been you doing that, hey?
I know. But look, I'll just say if something's not in order or in the right place or a mess, yeah, I hate that.
You've got 2 kids, man. I don't know how you do it. I've got one and shit's just, pardon my language. I just did it. There we go. And stuff's just left everywhere. So I don't know how you do it. What about you, RJ?
YouTube's just blacklisted us off the platform now. Thanks, mate. No, look, for me, it's probably 2 things. One, when people at home leave the lights on in rooms that they're no longer in. And secondly, when people leave the door open. It's like we don't live in a tent. I don't want all the flies in the house. Just close the door, walk in, walk out, keep it simple. And I'll throw a third one just for you because I know you'll like this one. People that turn at roundabouts and don't put blinkers on. Why do that for, guys? Put your blinkers on. That's all it is, okay?
Right. Quickly on that subject, what about, are you one of those toilet seat up or toilet seat down?
Oh, no, it's got to be down, mate. Come on.
100%.
It saves me time.
If the toilet seat's up, it's got to go.
It's down. A free workout, Scott. Come on, mate. There's extra movements.
No, I don't sit on it when I wee, so it needs to be up when I'm going in there. Save me the effort.
Interesting. This is a good debate. Classy.
Right. Let's before I give you mine, these are some that are in the live chat. Oh, yeah, this annoys me. Chucking cigarette butts in the street. Slow drivers on the M5.
That's the worst, man.
Someone being late. Yeah,
100%. I'm an early bird, mate. Someone says I'm 20 minutes there before the time, mate, all the time.
100%. Look, the things that grind my gears, I have a thing for people chewing their food. Chewing and slurping of food. Like if we go to family dinner and the family's having soup, I'll just go and eat in another room because I hate listening to people eat soup. It burns me. I can't handle it. But 2, people who chew, like I manage to chew my food. Now I consume a fair amount of food, boys. I'm a big guy. I don't need to make a whole bunch of noises when I chew. I don't understand how people do it. It burns me. Even their mouth movements when they're like, it grinds my gears. I'm getting upset thinking about it. That's definitely one. Using your car theme, RJ. I hate when I let someone in, like visibly let someone in.
No, thank you. Where's the gesture? Where's the gesture?
I just want that wave.
That's a good shout, mate. That's a good shout.
That roadway, just like, yeah, come in. Then you're just waiting for him, and then he just like, oh, mate.
And the best is the people that skip 10 cars up the queue and try to cut in at the end. I don't want to go there. I've had enough.
That's it. And look, probably the other thing for me would be people talking during movies. Even if my missus does, like, don't ask me questions during movies. I just want to sit and enjoy it. And when you're asking me questions, I'm not concentrating. So people ask me questions during movies or ask me how it's going to end. There are a couple of things that make me a little bit upset.
Good shout. Good shout.
Robbie.
Oh, mate, I've got some boring ones after that. The first one is chili. Yes or no? Do you like spicy food?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. The right kind of chili, of course.
Yes. Yeah. I love my heat. The more chili, the better. I put chili in everything. Put it in soup. I put it on my meat. I put it on everything. I love it.
Any others?
No, the other one's another boring one, boys. How do you have your meat? Cooked, or like how do you like it cooked?
Medium rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it medium rare as well.
Yeah, pink in the middle is good. Medium rare.
Absolutely. Right. For me, my question to you, because I'm really good at being prepared beforehand. My question for you, gents, and for the live chat is which rock band would you prefer to listen to? Robin, I know you're not a big on rock, but you have three options here. You've got Red Hot Chili Peppers, you've got AC/DC, and you've got Crowded House. And I know that's a bit not too much of rock, but it's like a softy type rock. If you had a choice, which one would you listen to?
Jeez, I'm terrible with this. If I knew the songs, I'd be able to sing, but I'm going to say the chili. Which one? Tell me a big Chili Peppers song quickly.
Under the Bridge. That's a classic one. Or Give It Away now.
I'll go for the Chili Peppers. AC/DC. Nice. I appreciate some songs, but it's a bit too heavy for me. You know what I mean? I'm not a big rock person.
Yeah. For me, it's the Chili's, but to add one more to things that grind my gears, AC/DC, put them on there. I hate AC/DC.
Really?
Anytime AC/DC come on the radio, I'll change to Smooth FM. If I have to, I'll change to my wife's Hope 103.2 FM.
What's wrong with Smooth?
No,
Smooth's good, man. Smooth's all right. But I think that heavy metal stuff that just don't even know what they're saying with no lyrics and they're just a headbanging thing. That's another thing. That's a no for me. I can't stand it.
For me, it's all about the genre. To be honest, how I'm feeling like on the day, because I love Crowded House, like, you Better Be Home Soon, those bangers. But Chili's, as Scott knows from back in the day. But again, at a party, when it's a big night out, AC/DC, Thunderstruck, Highway to Hell, like you said there, Georgie. That's exactly how I feel, mate.
Look, boys, it's been an absolute cracker of a show. It's been good covering some of the action. It's been a little bit funny with the way the fixtures are at the moment, getting into this festive season of the year. It's nuts. We've got fixtures left, right, and centre, so we'll do our best to cover them as best we can for you without missing any beats. We will be back on Thursday evening previewing the upcoming Premier League fixtures, maybe looking back at some of the Champions League. We're hoping to have a special guest, but we're not going to say too much right now. If this goes to plan, it will be a guest that Marty and Alex, I'm guessing, will like, but we'll have to see how we go with that. If you've just come in and you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't clicked subscribe for some crazy reason, please do that on the way out too. And help us by sharing this stream with some friends. We are on the road to 500 subs. We would love to get there by Christmas, but we've still got a little way to go. Robbie, any final words?
So I got the Ronaldo shirt on the back.
Can you turn around again? Show me the back of the head.
His head is so good.
Oh, my Lord. Looks just like a dirty onion.
I love it.
But you know what? You've been scoring some bangers in pro clubs, so you can do that as much as you want. RJ, final words.
We just lost 200 subscribers because of that, Ralf. Thanks very much, man. Hopefully you can pick them back up for us. Look,
We're on the
what's
road
saying?
to 100 subs.
We're on the road. We're on the road back to never subs. Great episode, guys. Not much more to add. I'm feeling a little bit better. Thursday should be a cracker, hopefully with the special guest. But if not, we've also got some exciting news on something that I think our audience would very much benefit from. So hopefully we can make that announcement on Thursday. But if not, definitely on the Tuesday. So keep an eye out and ears out for that one.
Absolutely. Let's quickly flick through these good nights. My final words, enjoyed the show. Thank you for going a little bit gently, not being too bad. But hopefully come Thursday, we're all predicting some positive results, some wins, and no more of this Man United winning. It's absolute nonsense. Take care, look after yourselves, enjoy your football.